It's a dizzying development in the saga of Householder's return to the House after term limits sidelined him in 2004. Householder was under FBI scrutiny then, too, in a different investigation. He came back to power last year at the end of a bitter, behind-the-scenes battle with former Speaker Ryan Smith that went on for much of 2018. There was even some talk that Householder might be interested in running for governor. Householder's arrest just days after he appeared on this program to talk about mask mandates and struggles with Governor Mike DeWine in passing some legislation sent shockwaves through state government. Statehouse correspondent Jo Ingles reports.
Larry Householder's campaign for re-election to the Ohio House in 2018, the year before he became Speaker, included a TV ad that was unforgettable.
They're in for a fight.
But he's not allowed to possess guns right now. That's a condition of his release after his arrest on a racketeering charge earlier this week.
We're here today to announce the arrest of Larry Householder, the Speaker of the House of the state of Ohio, and 4 other defendants for racketeering in relation to what is likely the largest bribery money laundering scheme ever perpetrated against the people of the state of Ohio.
Also charged, Generation Now, the 501c4 nonprofit or so-called dark money group that funded most of an effort last year to try to block the newly passed $1.3 billion bailout for 2 nuclear power plants in Ohio that were initially owned by a major utility referred to in the document as Company A. The complaint lays out the details of what prosecutors say was a complicated corruption scheme by which Householder and the others got nearly $61 million from Company A to elect lawmakers and pass the bailout law.
Millions of dollars went to support those candidates and to attack their rivals to get them elected. It was very successful. All of the individuals in Team Householder that were funded by Generation Now via Company A via Generation Now all voted for Larry Householder to be Speaker of the House.
And prosecutors say the money helped Generation Now stop a challenge by the dark money group Ohioans Against Corporate Bailouts, which tried to take the law to voters.
That money was used to bribe individuals that worked on the ballot to get insider information, thousands of dollars worth. That money was used to bribe the ballot collectors on the street to give them thousands of dollars and a flight out of town. That money was even used, hundreds of thousands of dollars of that money were provided to other ballot services, signature services, to do nothing. That is, if the enterprise hires them, they're conflicted off of working for the ballot initiative to reverse House Bill 6.
The complaint says Householder got a power base in the House out of the deal, but also lined his pockets. It says he got nearly $500,000 to pay off his own legal bills and credit card debt, and to make repairs and improvements to his home in Naples, Florida. And more could be forthcoming as the FBI is continuing its investigation.
There are a lot of FBI agents knocking on a lot of doors, asking a lot of questions, serving a lot of subpoenas, executing a lot of search warrants. And that's going to go on for days.
Householder had been under FBI scrutiny when he was Speaker the first time in the early 2000s. He was investigated for bribery and corruption back then, but no charges were filed. Good government groups point out it would have been nearly impossible for a scheme like this to happen if it were not for the dark money involved.
It was very clear that there was a lot of smoke, and now we know what the fire is.
Common Cause's Catherine Terser says there are some things the legislature should do to help shine sunlight on the money used in campaigns.
It might also make sense to think about how often lobbyists are also campaign fundraisers. And if they're campaign fundraisers and they're lobbyists, they have a special in, and we should at minimum know that they're doing those activities. And so there are lots of different things in that area. We should also be thinking about some review of ethics laws and those kinds of things so that we can put the guardrails in place so this just doesn't happen again.
Ohio's top elections chief agrees. Republican Secretary of State Frank LaRose believes Householder and others could have violated state election laws. So he's referred 19 alleged violations to the Ohio Elections Commission. And he says more could be referred in the future.
But campaign finance laws can constitute felonies depending on the level that they rise to. And to me, it's a clear betrayal of the public trust. And it's something that Ohioans expect better.
While Democrats have been calling for campaign finance reform, Republicans note that in 2010, former Senator John Husted, now Lieutenant Governor, sponsored a bill that would have made dark money more transparent. It failed to pass the House, which was controlled by Democrats at the time. Now it's up to the Ohio House to decide what to do with Householder. Several Ohio lawmakers are calling for his resignation, including Republicans John Cross, John Becker, and Tracy Richardson, as well as Democratic leader Amelia Sykes, all of whom voted for Householder as Speaker. So are key state leaders, including Senate President Larry Obhoff and Governor Mike DeWine. At this point, there's no indication Householder plans to vacate the Speaker's position. But if he doesn't, DeWine says it could happen anyway if the House doesn't remove him.
It's their obligation to do something about this. If they cannot, and again, I'm still trying to understand the House rules. I didn't serve in the House, served in the Senate many years ago, but trying to understand those rules. But if it's necessary for us to call the legislature into session, give them a specific, on a specific topic, which would be the speakership, I certainly would not hesitate to do that at all.
Householder could be the second Speaker to resign in a little over 2 years. Former House Speaker Cliff Rosenberger, also a Republican, quit in 2018 after news that he was target of an FBI investigation. No charges were ever filed. Jo Ingles, Statehouse News Bureau.